Today we're talking about dot plots, and at this point we've created a dot plot, we've interpreted a dot plot, and now it's time to compare dot plots. And if you open up here, it says compare. The dot plots represent the distribution of test scores in two 6th grade math classes. And so here is the morning class, and here is the afternoon class. And so when we compare, number one is we're going to ask us some questions here. It says, which class had the highest test score? And in this case, there's a dot here at the 100, and there's a dot here between the 90 and 100. So the morning class had the highest test score, and that test score was a 100. So which class had the highest test score? The morning class. And that test score was a 100. Which class had the lowest test score, and what was it? So at this point, the lowest dot that I see here is on the 40. The lowest dot that I see here is on the 40. They both had the lowest score. And what was it? It was of 40. They both had this. The morning class had 2 people that scored a 40. The afternoon class had 4 people who scored a 40. So then it says, what is the mode of each class? Remember that the mode is the number that occurs the most often. In my morning class, I can see that the most dots occur at the 80 marker. So in my morning class, my mode was 80. In my afternoon class, I'm looking for the stack with the highest number of dots. That one's a little bit harder to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My mode here is 60 in the afternoon. Then it says, which class had the higher mean and by how much? Okay, so to find mean, remember that we have to add up all our numbers and divide by how many there are. And so here we have 2 40s, so I'm going to add 40 plus 40. This between 40 and 60 is 50, so there's 150 plus 50. There's 160 plus 60. There's a 70 plus 70. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 80s. So I'm going to have to add 9 80s here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 80s. These ones are hard to tell, these in-between ones. I'm just going to give these to you. Typically, I would give them to you on a test or quiz. I'm going to say that these dots represent 83, and this dot represents an 87. And so I've got 3 83s that I'm going to add, plus 83, plus 83, plus 187, and then plus 2 90s, so 90 plus 90, and then my highest score was a 100 plus 100. I'm going to add them all up first, and so I'm going to pull out my calculator to do this. 40 plus 40 plus 50 plus 60 plus 70 plus 80 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 plus 80. I'm going to double check myself just to make sure that I've got all those 80s in there. There should be 9 of them, if I remember right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 80 plus 83 plus 83 plus 83. Plus 87, plus 90, plus 90, plus 100. It's really important that we're extra careful here. There were a lot of values there to plug in. And so my answer, when I add them all up, is 1,596. And then I have to divide by how many test scores there were. In this case, how many dots are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 students in the morning class. So I'm going to divide by how many values there were, 21 values. And when I do that, I'm getting a 76%. And so the mean of the morning class is 76. The mean of the afternoon let's see here. We had 4 40s, so 40 plus 40 plus 40 plus 40 plus, they're not giving this to you, but I'm going to say that this is 45 because it's halfway between 40 and 50, so that's 3 45s. 45, 45 plus, these two are split, so I'm going to call this 53 and 57. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to call this 53 and 55. So there's 1 53 and then plus 2 55s. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 60s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 60s. Plus 2 70s, because they're right on that middle line between 60 and 80. This next dot is halfway between 70 and 80, so I'm going to call it 75, so plus 75. Plus, these dots aren't quite halfway, so we're going to call these 83. 2 83s, plus 83, plus 83. Plus, this last dot here looks like it's about halfway. We're going to call it 95, plus 95. Again, on a test or quiz, I would give you the exact values that each of those dots represent. So when I add all of this up, 40 plus 40 plus 40 plus 40 plus 45 plus 45 plus 45 plus 53 plus 55 plus 55 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 70 plus 70 plus 75 plus 83 plus 83 plus 95. So when I add them all up, I get 1,234. I divide by how many values there are. In this class, how many dots are there? How many students? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 students in this class as well. So I'm going to divide by 21 values. When I do that, I'm just going to round to the nearest tenth. So I'm getting 58.76190, on and on and on it goes. To the nearest tenth, the 7 looks at the 6, and the 6 tells my 7 to round up, and so I'm getting a mean of 58 and 8/10. So my afternoon mean, again, 58 and 8/10. And it says, which class had the higher mean? Definitely the morning class had the higher mean. And by how much? In order to find how much, I'm going to subtract. I'm going to find their difference, 76 minus 58 and 8/10. Notice that even though I'm using a calculator to do that, I still am going to show my work here to the side. I'm still going to show what I punched in on my calculator to get my answer. So the morning had a higher mean by 17 and 2/10. I assume in this case these scores are percentages, but maybe points. And so here is our answer, morning by 17 and 2/10. And then the very last one asks for the range of scores. For our morning range, we're doing biggest minus smallest. Our biggest score was 100. Our smallest score was 40. 100 minus 40 is equal to 60. Our afternoon range, our highest score was a 95, minus our lowest score was a 40. And when I subtract here, I get 55. Again, even though I can do that math in my head, I'm still showing how I get my range for each of them, and showing my work, showing my thinking here. So the morning had a range of 60 points. The afternoon had a little bit smaller range of 55 points of a range for student scores on that test. And so when we compare two sets of data, you can see that we have two different dot plots. And we use their information to help us answer questions and compare the two.